Right, there we go. Can you see the screen there, MJ?
Not yet. There we go.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So welcome, guys. Now that you can see the screen, welcome to the You Were Born Rich Mastermind group. This is the sixth session now, I believe, of the actual chapters. Seventh session in all. Really big chapter, this one. It is one of my favourite ones in the fact that it goes a little bit deeper. You start thinking about things on a lot of different levels. You know, the vibration, the frequency you're actually going on to, and how that can actually affect everything as well, which is a lot more to take in than perhaps meeting money and how much is enough, which are brilliant foundation ideas, but fairly easy to understand and to actually grasp. I'm not sure how you found that, MJ, but as it does move further on, it is a bit more in depth as well. I mean, all the ideas are very simple ideas to allow you to actually implement them into your lives, but as you move on, it does seem to, you know, advance, as it were, in
Yeah,
the level as
yeah.
well.
I found this last one very technical, so
Yeah, it does
I
get
think
deep.
we understand it.
Yeah. How did you find it when you've been looking over the last couple of chapters?
um, they're very much linked, aren't they? Really, with like the when you're imagining what you want, that's like the positive vibrations, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's like the law of vibration, just when you're imagining, isn't it? So
Mm,
positive affirmations and positive thinking.
yeah.
You're doing that before you even get to the law of vibration part. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so you're
Um,
sort of ready for it. It's
mm,
just understanding the technical side. I don't think
yeah.
you do need to understand the technical side though, as long as you're doing it and you're noticing that it's working.
Mm,
It's like I watch the telly, but I don't know how it works. Don't worry about it.
exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point as well. You know, it's something I used to play a big guitar, and I was struggling with to get into the next level because I wanted to understand how it worked. And the guy just said to me, don't worry about how it works. Just do it, and you'll get it afterwards. But I didn't get, like, I was trying to understand so much that it frustrated me. I'll give it up for a while. Then went back to it, and I just practiced it without having to think about it too much. And once I got the idea, then I understood it afterwards. And it sounds weird, but if you know it's working, then you don't really need to understand. But then once it does work, then you do understand it.
Yeah,
So it is a way of a weird back to front sort of way of working, but it does um, work out really well. Same with this, the law of attraction and vibration. It does once it's a bit weird to understand, thoughts of things, and it's a bit like, well, okay, it's a bit out there, but once you actually understand how it works and things start happening for you, as I've noticed, especially if you're own, they have actually started to happen for you already. Um,
yeah, yeah. I've
you know,
noticed
and
stuff.
and
So
even if it's not like a physical manifestation, just mentally, things that you feel like more confident in moving things and how you're actually going about your day to day life, it's affected it there.
well, something happened a few weeks ago. I took my family and my kids to like a pub restaurant, and the service was really great. And the waiter comes up at the end. He's like, "Oh, you can have all your drinks for free, as we took so long serving you." And I'm like, "What?" He didn't take too long serving us, so we got like 4 meals for 12 quid
Oh,
and didn't have to pay for our drinks. So yeah, it was a bargain. It's like, what was
fantastic.
that all about?
Yeah, yeah, right. That's a weird thing, yeah. It's funny how things like that seem to happen. And that's like the second thing you said to me before. You said something else happened as well, like with your child tax credits as well. They got rebated to you as
Yeah,
well, or
yeah, they made a mistake, so they stopped my child tax credits. As I was raging,
yeah,
and it was my father that pointed out. Actually, it's a good thing because once they sort it out, they said they'd backdate what they hadn't paid us, so it means I'll get a lump sum of money,
yeah,
which I wouldn't be able to save up on my own because I just don't, have the willpower. But this way, it's forcing me
yeah,
um,
exactly.
not to spend money on crap, rather spend money on something important like reinvesting in my business. So
No, it's a good point. I think a lot of the time as well, we kind of know what we're going to get paid, and we kind of live by those means. But then once it
yeah,
gets taken away a certain amount, we still find a way to live by those means.
that's it.
We
Yeah,
exclude what we don't really need, all the added little bonuses that we have. Then we realise we can have it actually save a lot more what we get without even need to worry about it. Like, saving seems to be a big stress word for a lot of people. Oh, I've got to save money. But then when you realise, actually, I don't really need to spend this little bit of money, it makes it a lot easier to save because you can do it once it's been, like I say, unfortunately taken away from you, but it allows you to see what you can actually have got and what you're able to use and stuff. So it's a blessing in disguise.
yeah. And the other thing was, like I'm selling from two companies now, like health and beauty products, but their makeup is both very limited. Now I love my makeup and things like that, and I've been wanting like an MLM business to do with like really loads of different good quality makeup, and
Mm.
I've met this lady called Michelle online, who her and her aunt are bringing a big makeup company over to Britain in October.
Oh yeah.
A huge range of makeup, and it does like where you can paint on like glitter tattoos and stuff like that, and I love all that sort of thing. It's just brilliant. I can't wait for it to start. And again, I think if my mind wasn't on the right path, if I wasn't thinking those thoughts, I wouldn't
Mm.
have met her. I wouldn't have got to talking to her, and I wouldn't have noticed her posts and things like that.
Yeah,
So
I remember that connection. Oh, that's so cool as well. Probably something you can get your teeth ready into because obviously you're passionate about your makeup and your um that side of things. So it'll be something that can really get you, when you're telling somebody about something you actually enjoy yourself,
that's it. Yeah,
it's a lot easier for you already.
yeah, true.
So yeah, that's good. Oh, it's given good successes there. MG had a good last couple of
Oh,
weeks, and it seems very
lot,
positive. Lots of good things happening.
yeah,
And as well, you seem to be noticing a lot more of the positives as well. You seem to be every time I hear you on like the messenger, there's always something good happening, or something. It just always seems positive, which is really
yeah,
it's very cool. To say not that you were a negative person before, but it just seems every time now it is positive. You seem to be looking
yeah.
more positives
Um,
than negatives.
yeah, I always used to like to moan on Facebook. But, no, I've stopped doing that now because it's a bad habit.
Yeah, I think the difference is as well because you stopped looking for it, you stopped finding it,
Yeah,
and now that you started looking for the positives, you started to find positives.
yeah, that's it.
So
I'm
it's
still
cool.
doing my affirmations and positive thinking, and part of my goal is to stop doing negative things.
Yeah,
Like moaning about things on Facebook or
yeah.
badly about somebody or something
Well,
like
it's so
that.
easy to do though, isn't it? Once you get sucked into a little trap.
Yeah,
So it's good that you found the
that's
strength
it.
to get out of it.
Yeah,
No, that's good, MJ. That's really really pleased. Actually, it's giving me a lot of energy just thinking about that and having the positive impact that it's had on you already, which is really cool. I know that's all part of the previous chapters. The mindsets that is developing. Your affirmations are there. The positivities come through there, and the expecting and abundance as well. Having the faith from let go and let God. The faith that things are going to happen good for you. In the end as well, which is a big part of this. Just staying positive because you got the faith that it's going to do you well. Because some people like be positive and say, "Oh, what's the point of being positive?" And I think, "Oh, well, there's no point really if you have that sort of an idea." But because you have got a really positive idea at the minute, and it's kind of having faith as well that good things are going to happen. And that's why I stay
yeah.
positive. And that's in a way let go and let God. You're having that faith as well, and good things are happening. And that's
Mhm.
so it's a good thing actually. It's quite cool to hear that they're already happening for you, and it does happen towards the last few chapters. I've noticed as well with previous ones, people seem to start. It's like compound interest. The first few chapters, it seemed like such a small investment to your time. You're given like an hour a week, to listen to the recording, and you're reading the stuff maybe 15, 20 minutes, a couple of days a week, watching and reading and listening to the recordings, and then every week and week it just seems to compound and compound, and good things start happening. And towards the last like 4 or 5 weeks, really good things start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just seems to be like good things start happening for everyone. So it's really cool, and because you have been investing in a way from the beginning, you've been really active and doing really well. It's already having an effect on you already. In the last few weeks, you're still having really good things happening. So I'm looking forward to like topping it off with these last few chapters as they're getting deeper as well. You'd be so ready for them, which is really exciting for me to have speaking to you as well. Obviously, we did a little bit of recapping a minute ago, but from last week, the gratitude as well, having that gratitude of things, for life. Wasn't necessarily expecting an abundance, but abundance comes to you through gratitude, appreciating what you have, because we can have everything we want, but if you're always searching for the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, you never really appreciating what you actually got. So when you do get really good things, you don't actually realise that they are really good things, which is kind of what we're saying about the positivity as well. You notice all this positivity, and you feel a lot happier. I mean, I know it's only over an internet call, but you do feel a lot happier. You seem more positive, and and that's through you appreciating all the good things that seem to be happening for you. Your mind seems really good, and that's just a good part of where the affirmations are a similar sort of thing, but the gratitude, obviously, is very adaptable to each day. Feeling. Have you had any gratitude over the last few weeks? You've been having more feeling more grateful for things?
Oh, definitely. I mean, sometimes because I tend to get lumped with most of the housework, even though my partner works from home. And if I've got like a pile of washing up to do, I'll probably think, oh, but then I think, no, I'm lucky I have a kitchen and clean hot running water. And, the reason why I've got dirty plates is because I've got lots of food,
Yeah.
So all this mess is a sign of how much I've got and how lucky I am. And the fact that I can clean all this mess is another, sign that I'm lucky I've got clean running water.
Yeah. And it's so true as well.
No, a lot of people don't have food or water or a home,
And a lot of things you take for granted in this day.
That's it.
And it's so easy to do as well, because you always, usually from me as well, I've always had, things around you. Not necessarily always a lot of things, but I've still always had these things, like say clean running water and food in the fridge. So you do appreciate it, but over time you can become accustomed to it, which is sometimes why a lot of relationships struggle, because you get used to being in the relationship with somebody and you stop appreciating what you've actually got. And then once you do that, it's a slippery slope towards unhappiness, isn't it? Because I've been there as well. Unfortunately, from my own perspective, you get too comfortable with somebody, and you just think that's how it goes, and it's really not. You've got to keep appreciating them and letting them know you're appreciating them as well. And then you feel better, and they feel good that you're appreciating them, and they try harder, and it's another compounding effect. You feel good, and then they want to impress you, and you want to impress them, and it's kind of like you're keeping it fresh and keeping it nice as well, which is nice. Not just for you, like your partner, but even for you, just your friends. Being grateful for your friends and telling them, oh, you're doing so well for yourself. It's great that you're having you around and you're pushing yourself, and thanks for the support you're giving me. It's just they just give you so much more, because if they know that you appreciate them, they give you more in effect, because they want you to appreciate them as well, and they want to feel like they're helping you.
Yes, be appreciated and for someone to recognise what you've done. So yeah.
No, it's a good thing, and gratitude goes a really long way towards everything. And I'm a big believer in it. In the mornings, if I'm having a bit of a sleepy day, I'll just say to myself what I'm grateful for, and it just starts. It's impossible to be unhappy when you're being grateful at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just grateful for having a really nice house. You can't say it with an unhappy face, because it's something so simple, but it still makes you happy, So gratitude is a big one for me. Expecting an abundance, looking forward to the things you're going to have, and expecting it to happen for yourself as well, which is linked towards letting go and letting God as well. And going over the last chapters, which I know you said you have been doing, which is fantastic. because it is important as well, and it's something, like I said, I've been realising recently with my reading, just going back over the old books, and I've had like a book where I've dog-eared about 20-30 pages. It's definitely worth reading again, and
Yeah.
ideas and going over it again, and just recapping my mind of how good it was, because a lot of the ideas, especially with personal development, are very similar, just said in different ways. About the image you hold of yourself, and the positivity and the mindset as well. It's very similar in all the books, just depends on the author and how he writes it. So if you find it really good,
Yeah.
you might as well just read the same book and get as much out of it as possible before you move into the next one. From my own perspective anyway, that's how I'm feeling at the minute. Maybe it'll change. Once you get to a good level of understanding, you might want to read a lot more to get different viewpoints. But for me at the minute, just going over the old chapters.
Yeah. Many, many years ago, I looked into Buddhism,
Mm.
and one of their, I now recognise it as the law of vibration, but they used to use like an image of a thought is like a stone being dropped into water. It sends out ripples. I didn't understand that at the time, but now I see it as, of course, it's a law of vibration, isn't it? Whatever thoughts we have, that goes out, it sends out a vibration.
Literally. Well, if you imagine, you've got a puddle in front of you and drop a stone into it, the ripples touch the end of the puddle, correct? And then if you
Yeah.
drop a stone into a little pond and you throw a stone in the middle, the ripples go to the end of the pond.
Yeah.
Now, if you throw a stone into the ocean, the ripples still go to the end. It's just because it has to, it doesn't just stop. There's nothing in there that stops. It's obviously it's not the same as it went in. It's a lot smaller, but the vibration still reaches the end. It just shows that our actions go so far, into everything. It affects everything, I want our actions come from our thoughts. Like you say, our thoughts are these little stones. So it's a great way that you got that from Buddhism as well. Did you practice Buddhism for a while, or?
Um, not really. I looked into it. I read books, but from what you were just saying, it reminded me. You can read a lot of books on the same subject, but they'll just explain it differently. And I think a lot of these modern concepts are just based on ancient philosophy, but they're just called different things.
Yeah, exactly. In just different ways, easy for to understand. A lot of the books, even if they seem like completely different books, they are very similar at the core.
Yeah.
It is good, and it's nice to get different perspectives because we're all different people. We all respond to different words, but it is essentially all the same. So if you understand the ideas from one book, you understand the ideas from all the books, really. So it's a good thing to actually go deep into the book and really understand the ideas and think about them and reflect on them as well, which is good. Something that I'm doing as well now, so it's a big thing for me. And no, it's another thing for me as well. Something that relaxes you is something that's really important, and something I've struggled with a little bit recently. The meditation. I've done my breathing techniques quite a lot, and the yoga as well. It just gives me a lot of energy, relaxes me, takes all my thoughts away from everything when I'm doing yoga, especially if I'm doing it in a class. It's quite intense because you're bending down, you're trying to focus on your breathing. And the thing is, when you're doing that, all you're focusing on is your breathing and trying to stay in these positions and the poses and trying to, stretch as much as possible. And the thing with that is, that's all you're focusing on. So all your thoughts of the outside world about what you need to get done, what you need to do, how you need to do it, just go out of the window and you kind of just focus on the job in hand, which for a big thinker like me who thinks all the time is so refreshing because it's like a switch off. And then,
Yeah.
when you switch back on, it's so much clearer and you got a lot more clarity, and you feel a lot calmer as well. Like it's not as big a deal as you actually thought it was. It's not as stressful. It's just a thing that you need to get done, and you can do it. So it lowers a lot of stress for me, the meditation and breathing techniques. Breathing techniques I use just for like my, oxygen into my body, because I'm not sure if you're aware of a thing called the lymph system in the body, you might know from your makeup and your beauty therapy that you said you might have an experience in. Um,
Yeah.
like the lymph system in your body, I think there's 3 times more lymph in your body than there is blood, and the only way to actually activate your lymph system and keep it flowing is, through breathing techniques or exercise, which actually makes you breathe harder, which makes the lymph flow through your body a lot more. And the lymph, the blood's actually powered by our heart. The beating of our heart actually flows the blood around our body, but the lymph is just by our breathing. And a lot of people don't actually breathe properly. And I'm sure I've done any form of yoga or deep breathing techniques, that when you do it, you feel really lightheaded. Or even if you just go for a big
Yeah,
swim.
yeah.
And that's just a
Yeah.
thing. That's just the blood going right, the lymph actually being activated properly, and it's surreal. It's like taking drugs. To be fair, when you have a good deep breathing session, your head just it's totally buzzing, and it's. Have you had any experience like that, MJ?
Oh, loads. Yeah, I've been meditating for years because I used to suffer from a lot of anxiety issues. So I've
Yeah,
always used meditation as a way of just quietening my mind and relaxing my body.
yeah, and it is fantastic for me. That's brilliant. So let's jump into it. Into the law of vibration. Big chapter, and as I say, change of vibration, you'll change your life, and that is very, very, very true. From my own experience, which I'm still, going through at the minute, it's a journey for all of us, who are aware. And a lot of this is just the beginning. Where we're at now, even where I'm at, is basically the beginning of my journey of where I want to be. Like, I'm quite lucky with my change. I feel like this year is the first year of my life, like properly. I feel more aware. I feel more myself. I'm understanding a lot more about me and my self-confidence, self-image, and it's really just allowed me to be the person I wanted to be. So I've come a long way in like this last year or so. I really just become the person who I want to be properly. So I'm really excited to move forward, and that's just fair, like say, changing my vibration. I didn't realize that was
Yeah.
at first, but I've really changed, and I'm sure there's a similar experience yourself, MJ, as well, from what we've spoken about before.
Well, I'm going to be 40 next year, and I thought, if I'm going to be 40, I'm not going to see it as a negative. I'm going to see it as a whole new decade to become the person that I want.
Mm,
So, for the next 6 months, I'm going to be really doing a lot of like this sort of thing, self-development, working on my businesses,
mm.
getting closer to getting my degree and things like that. So yeah, I've got my sort of goals for next year.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
yeah, I'm seeing up till December as sort of finding my feet
Mm.
in my business stuff, and then next year I can really sort of take off and live the life I want and be the person I want to be.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's brilliant to hear. I was listening to Bob Proctor earlier on. He's brought his book out, The ABCs of Success, and Bob's going on 80 now, I think. And he says, the guy that was interviewing him mentioned age, and Bob was like, "Well, age is just a thing. We get told when we get older, we get more tired, and we get, you know, less energy, and we got to slow down." And he said, "But that's just completely untrue. It's just what somebody's told you." Now he's moving just as fast as he has done for the last 50 years within the world of self development. And he said, he's only going to keep on going the way he is. He's not going to slow down for anyone because it's what he enjoys doing, and he enjoys living life. And he doesn't look as old as he actually is, and he definitely doesn't feel it. Does a lot more than a lot of people would do at his age, absolutely. And even 20, 30 years younger. So age, is, I know I'm saying it's like a young person, which is, I've only got my own perspective on things, but age is just a number, and it
Oh
depends
yeah.
how you feel about it. 'Cause we all know people who are about 30 but look about 50 and act about 50, and we,
I don't really act my age, and a lot of people think I'm in my late 20s. So
yeah, well,
that's fine with me.
well, I was surprised you said 40. To be fair, I was like, freaking hell, you sound a lot younger, and you look a lot younger, especially. Um,
Yeah.
so it's just your state
Yeah.
of mind, really.
Yeah.
You could just lie, to be fair, and just say you are in your late 20s, and I think everyone would believe you.
Yeah. It's nice when I say, oh, I'm 39. People are like, really? I thought you were like 27. I'm like, oh.
Oh, you're doing well. Sounds nice to hear, though.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Right, so this is one of the things, everything is in a state of constant motion, and that's true for everything in the universe. The planets are moving, the universe itself is moving. So obviously we're moving even though we're stood still. It's impossible for anything. It's physically impossible for anything to not move. It's even in space. There's still particles that are moving, and it's in a state of change constantly. So it all boils down to if you feel like you're happy with something, you're not moving towards something, you're moving away from something. It's a natural law. If you're not doing something creative, you're obviously going to disintegrate as a result. It's the opposite, it's a law of polarity as well, the opposites. So everything is in motion here, so you got to keep moving towards your goals, and just keep moving in general. The motion creates motion. So like you say, if you're stuck towards doing something, you're not sure what to do, just do something. And usually it'll just give you energy to actually find a different perspective on things, and you probably just have, when you go back to the original idea, you'll have more energy than you would do if you just sat at home and did nothing because you're frustrated. You probably just wake up feeling more tired the next day, and it's a bit of like the whole thing of when you go into the gym for me, if I miss it for a few days, it's always harder to get back into it. But if you just get there, even if you don't want to go there, if you just get there, you feel quite good, and then you go more and more, and it becomes more a habit again. Just a case of you're trying to stay in motion whatever you're doing. And in relation to your goals and passions, you either are moving towards them or away from them. As a result, if you're happy with where you are, you got to create new goals for yourself. There's no point in, if you stop and slow down, it's unfortunate people don't realise that the life is slipping them by. People think, oh yeah, I'm really happy now, but then in 5-10 years slip past, and think, oh God, I need to catch up, I need to do these things now, and they've wasted a lot of time by being, settling for too little. So try and keep pushing towards your goals. Just do something. If you feel stuck, you're not sure what to do, just do something. It'll cause you to be in motion. You'll learn something new and probably see a problem in a new light. Albert Einstein, brilliant person. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. That's what he said. Is for the guy that won a Nobel Prize for physics. That's quite a big thing to say. Match the frequency of the reality you want. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It's inevitable. If you were on a basic level wanting to be happy and you're unhappy, and you smile, you open your arms wide like a very welcoming gesture, and you start talking to people and pretending that you're happy, it's inevitable that you're going to become happy. You can't help it. So it can be no other way that this is not philosophy, it's physics, which is not, it's a very tangible thing. It's reality, basically. It's not what we're trying to, think, this could be this or this could be that. It's just how life works. So just get into a frequency of reality that you want to get, and you're gonna actually, attract it into your life. It's inevitable. Even when it comes to big things, like building a business. If you get onto the reality and the frequency of, I need to do this to build a business, and you keep working towards and acting like a business person acts, speak to people who already succeeded, like you are currently MJ with a person that's got a business, and you were kind of copying what they were doing, or mimicking a few of the ideas at least. You're basically doing what they're doing, they're already successful. So it's inevitable that you're going to get somewhere like the results they're going to get. Because, you're not any different from them as a person. We're all people, we're all doing the same things. And people get attracted in the same ways. If you act like you've got a business, and if you believe it internally, you've got a business that's very successful and it's going places, even though it's very early in its stages, people believe you because you believe it already. If in 5 years' time, once it does really take off and you're full time in the business and you're making a lot of money out of it, and you talk to people, if you go up to a random stranger and talk about your business, then you're going to talk about it in a certain way. So if you talk about it to a random stranger now in a certain way, they don't know any different. Whether you're successful
Yeah.
or not, it just depends on how you portray the idea. So if you go up to somebody and say, "Oh yeah, I'm just starting out in the business, I'm quite new to it, and give me a break and give me a chance," or if you say, I've got a successful business up and running now, I've got plenty of people involved and are interested in starting up, is it something you wanted to go into? They're going to come at it thinking you're an authority on the subject, and are going to move into it. And if it's something that you believe in, going to help them and give them a good product, then there's no reason not to. And that's
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I wouldn't sell anything that I won't use myself, So, I'm finding that if you've got a positive attitude towards the products, that rubs off on other people. And, if you say it's good, I've used it before, they'll believe that, because you're giving off an air of authority.
yeah, exactly. If you just say,
No
"Oh
matter
yeah,"
if or 100 times, as long as you're confident with that.
mm,
It makes no difference whether you've used it once or 100 times. You can, I think, not influence people, but can convince people that, it's a product that's worth having
yeah,
because, you've tried it and you say it's good.
no, exactly. I mean, in the same way, if I said to you, "Oh yeah, I've got this skin cream, it's good for your skin. You should use it. It's like 40 quid for a tub. How many tubs do you want?" You'd be like, "What? What are you talking about? That sounds ridiculous." But I go up to you and say, "Oh, I've got this skin cream, I've used it plenty of times myself. I had a really bad skin before and it's really cleared a lot of things up for myself. My girlfriend and her family uses it. And they buy it off me because they think it's that good. And their family, they still want to buy it off me. Um, a lot of people I've worked with use it. It's really good for drying out the pores. If you've got oily skin, it's good for that. It just gives your skin a really nice tone as well. How does that sound to you? It's going to sound a lot more believable because you've actually used it and your family uses it and you use it and you've had good results.
That's it,
And that's a
yeah.
good thing. And another thing as well, like attracts being happy attracts the happiness. But in the same way, if you're, like you say, with your own journey, you attracted this person into your life who's starting a makeup business. Now that's something you're interested in already, and because you're being very business-like at the minute and you're trying to start the business and network with people, you've attracted people that are doing a similar thing to yourself on a different level. Because
Yeah.
it's a different frequency. It's a different vibration, but on the same frequency. So you've attracted it because you're on the same frequency, and you've related to that person who maybe you wouldn't have related to in the same way if you went on that frequency, like you were saying earlier on. If you went in the state of mind you are now, you might not have actually had the opportunity to speak to them and to potentially find a business partner as well.
Oh,
So
that's it. Yeah. This time last year, I wasn't thinking about selling, health and beauty products at all. And
mm,
if someone had asked me, do I want to do it? I'd be like, no.
exactly, yeah. But now it's an opportunity for yourself to move forward and to build, a big thing for yourself. So it's a good thing, really.
And my sponsor, she's a good friend of mine, and she uses the Forever products, and she's got similar skin problems to me, and it really helped her.
Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, because she was an authority on these products, it got me interested.
Yeah.
And she was
You're
telling
going
me about how
else as
much
well.
money her sister earns on it, and how much she was training to sell the stuff now. I thought, it's only her vibrations sort of influenced mine that I got into the business. So
Well, exactly. And that goes down back to the whole, throwing the stone in the ocean. All it took was as her thought in her mind brought her into a business selling health and wellness products. And now her thought is actually, you know, gone into your body and giving your mind actually an idea. Now you're thinking about becoming like starting a business. You start the business. Now you're helping other people start the business. That's how powerful. You can't necessarily see the ripples in the ocean, but that thought that she had, probably a person before her had, is going making waves. At the end of the day, it's making
yeah.
a lot of action. So it just goes to show now that your thoughts are powerful.
Mhm.
and your vibration as well. And it is down to your willpower as well. Obviously, what you want to do, you can have, people who say the law of attraction. They sit on the couch and they say have affirmations and have, say they want to attract things into their life and write these great statements, but do nothing about them. It is about your willpower as well. And your self-image, this is something that probably one of the biggest things in self-development for me is the image of ourselves, or how we think about ourselves. And it is something that we constantly need to work on, because we're constantly changing and we constantly want new things. And the people around us are changing and the circumstances are changing around us. And it can be done in a lot of different ways, not necessarily for our goals and for everything else, but if we're trying a new thing out, it can be quite difficult and quite tough, and you can seem quite stressed out. It's something that I've very close to my heart, that when you do something new, especially when it's a big thing as well, it's quite stressful and it can be frustrating, and because you're very new at it, there's a lot of things to take on, and it can seem like it's not for you almost. However, when you started start a new job, it's tough. There's things happen and people are new and you got to do new jobs, and you seem like a bit of an idiot because you have to ask the stupid questions, and you get frustrated and you think that everyone thinks you're a bit of an idiot, and then eventually it becomes easy, because the more and more you do it, the easier it gets, and it becomes second nature. You go to work and you just chatting to your friends and you're doing your job, and then you're going home, and it's very simple. But to get to that stage, you have to push through the frustration and having that self-image inside saying, I know what this is. It's just a pushing stage. I'm going to get through this to become where I need to be. I just need to get the skills now to push forward, but it's going to be tough. Holding that strong image now, self-image strongly held, determines what we become and who we become. And it's a big thing. It's probably, I say, one of the biggest things for me, which I'm going to use a lot moving forward. And to have that self-image takes a lot of willpower, because it can be tough and it can be hard to think, right, this is just an obstacle in my way, and I'm going to move through it to get to where I need to be. Especially when it's something you're really passionate about, it can be tough. So you're going to have the will to really move forward and to know what. This is why writing your goals down is essential. And the same way with this mastermind, the willpower to stay every week and to catch up and to be on board with it. It might seem like a small thing for you, MJ, but it's because you've built a bit of a habit now of doing it. You've built that habit inside yourself. However, if you don't build a habit for something, it can be quite tough to catch up and quite tough to come on board. And once you've lost it, it's almost not impossible to catch up. But obviously, as it is just me and you, it's tough to really to catch up if you don't actually continue with your willpower. It takes a lot of strength for the simple things. So on a grander scale with a business, it takes a lot of willpower to actually keep moving forward and holding on to what you know. So when you write down your goals in where you need to be, business-wise, professionally and emotionally, spiritually, financially, and how happy you are as well in relationships and everything, is essential, because it kind of puts you on back into reality. When you're getting stressed out, you look at your goals and you think, okay, this is what I'm working towards. And then you go back into your state of where you was before, and you understand then where you need to be. And you understand how much you want. You figured out how much is enough. So you figured out how much you actually want. It's not an impossible amount. It's just it's an amount that you need to get. You need to let go and let God. So they all do actually make a lot of sense, especially when you come frustrated. They all stack upon each other. These chapters in the Born Rich as building blocks to help you succeed when you get tough. See, it does get tough. Obviously you come across it yourself, I'm sure, a few times. But it's the willpower to keep going and to keep looking at things from a different angle.
Yeah, I mean, having to do all this, it's taken me out of my comfort zone. So I'm pushing myself to achieve my goals and be the person that I want. So yeah, I've been stressed at times.
Yeah.
It gave me skin flare-ups. So the skin flare-ups is evidence that I'm achieving my goals, because at the moment, I'm doing things I wouldn't normally do. So
yeah, pushing out your comfort zone.
Even the skin flare-ups I'm seen as a positive, because it just means
that's good.
my goal and pushing myself. Yeah, it's stressing me out now, but this time next year will be talking to strangers or whatever will be a perfectly natural thing.
Well, exactly. And it sounds weird saying it now, but it will be, because it's like any small thing. It is tough, and that's something we'll move on to in a little bit as well. It's quite entertaining as a practical thing, but I'll get to that later on. We've all got the ability to choose everything in our lives. If we want to succeed, we can just choose to. Giving up for some people is not an option. And that's not to say that you're going to die, doing something, until it's going to be completely, you're going to kill yourself doing it. It's having the ability to adapt, and, thinking, right, okay, I'm going towards my goal, but I'm not going on the same road as I initially started on. I took a little detour, but I'm still going to get there. Understanding your situation as well, you don't have to pressure yourself to get there, which is a letting go and letting God, having the willpower just to think, okay, I need to stop stressing about this because I'm not getting any further. And once you start forcing something, you can come against resistance sometimes. And it's like a rubber band. The more you push, the more resistance you actually get. And it's stressful and frustrating. Sometimes you just need to let go and have, a bit of time off sometimes and a bit of a relax and refresh and look at things from a different point of view. And then when you do go back to it, it's like, okay, I'm not. That can be a hard thing in itself, just letting go for a lot of people and just thinking, right, I just need to chill with this and then I'll move forward eventually. And everything, the ability to choose everything in our lives, literally everything, who we are, how we are, everything that we think is us, we can change. As Bob Proctor was saying earlier on, he changed the way he talked, he changed the way he stood, he changed the way he looked, the way he felt, what his goals were, his career, his relationships with family, friends, and himself. Everything changed because the person who he wasn't happy with. It takes a strong person to realise that as well, to realise that you're not the person you want to be and to change it. So it's very possible to change anything you want in your life because people like Richard Branson, Warren Buffett, presidents in the countries are still all people with a certain willpower. So you can do anything you want with the willpower. It's just having the ability to choose, really, to do it. And it is a self-image. Before any change can happen, we must first become something. We must first ingrain in ourselves of what we want to do. And this is where the goals do come in. You're actually impressing an idea onto your subconscious mind and believing it and then doing something, which is probably why you're doing so well, MJ, with your business and everything else, because you've got a plan and you know where you need to be. And, you won't just wake up tomorrow and think, oh, screw this. I can't be bothered with it. It'd be ridiculous. But to some people who haven't really planned anything and just like someone would come up to them and said, hi, do you want to join a business where you can make a lot of money? And they've said, yeah, okay, sounds brilliant. And then after a month, they're like, oh, I have no idea how to do this, I'm giving up. Now, it's the exact same situation, but it's just the way they've looked at it and they've planned different ways. They haven't seen the opportunity as much. They haven't decided to do something. And it's been easy for them to give up because they haven't really thought about it. Whereas for you, you've realised the opportunity you've got. You realise that you can actually make a lot of money doing it and help people and enjoy what you do and have a career that's, time dependent on you. How much time you want to put in it is up to you completely. You're your own boss. And it's still a pretty fun job as well, to be fair. But it all depends on the change that you made in yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll agree with that.
Oh yeah.
So that is a powerful thing. That's just related to everything as well. Any change is dependent on yourself and how much you do actually want to change. And you can do anything with enough willpower. And the same way as well, when you do something that you think it's like, oh, I'm really scared to do this, like a bungee jump or jumping into a swimming pool or anything, and you build it up inside your head and it's never as bad as you think afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it's the same with everything, with a business, with getting married. People stress out for years to get married. I mean, I'm not married, but I'm sure that once you actually do it, it's like, oh, that's actually quite good. I'm actually married now and I'm happy. I don't know what I stressed out for the last 6 months about to make it all perfect. It was actually really nice. Or the same with building a business. Once you actually put enough effort in, and start a business, but oh, that was actually okay. But you have to lay the foundation first of what you're doing now, building your mindset and building the person you want to become first, and then putting the steps up, building the foundation blocks up and up and up, not starting at the top and then having no foundation to fall back on in case time gets tough. You actually got something to fall back onto. If something hits you, you've got a lot of stuff behind you supporting you, which is what it all is, and then
Yeah.
it'll become a lot easier.
Yeah, it goes back to, I can't remember which chapter it was, but it's talking about persistence.
Yeah, persistence, yeah.
Once you give up, that's it, you failed, and that is the only way to fail, by giving up. If
Exactly.
you want to succeed, you've got to be persistent, and you've got to keep doing it.
Yeah, no, it's completely true, and that's a big thing with anything. How much persistence you've got is everything. I mean, this is a bit of a personal touch from me as well, which I've put in of the change that's possible, and it's something that I'm still going through. As I said, I'm still at the beginning of something, but even in the last, 2 or 3 years, this is a little transition for myself. On the left side is me partying away with looking like an Egyptian pharaoh, in a club somewhere, lots of drink,
Each to their own.
and just trying to have a really good time. But it was just because, I drink a lot because I struggle with the person who I was. I try and, I mean, I'm usually I was a learner, I'd stay alone all the time. I'd be out and about with my friends, but I'd like to be alone. But when I was alone, I'd be distracting myself with movies, with TV, with drinking, with something. There'd always be something going on. So even though I was alone, I was still distracted. So when a lot of people say, you need to take a lot of time and think about your goals and plan stuff and be alone, I had that alone time, but I was still distracting myself from doing things and keeping away from people, and it wasn't really the best time for me. I mean, at the time I felt okay, but looking back, I wasn't a very happy person. I was just trying to cover things up, and I was distracting myself constantly, and having lots of alcohol, and I wasn't really a very good person. I wasn't a bad person, but I didn't feel like the person who I was supposed to be. I had a lot of potential, but I was just kind of being very stressed out and not a very happy person, and it wasn't the best time. I think it took a lot of realization. There's some things I was saying to my girlfriend a couple of days ago. If somebody in your life, like for now, I've got a very strong confidence. If someone comes up to me and says, "Your hair looks stupid," I'll literally laugh at them, and I'll just like say thanks, but think nothing of it. But then that's just a random person I don't really know or care about. But then if one of my friends who I respect comes up to me and says, "Josh, your hair looks a bit stupid," I'd sort it out. I'll probably almost definitely go to a mirror and have a look at my mirror and sort my hair out a little bit because they respect them. And it took a few times of people that I respected would look at me and they'd look at me quite funny and say, "What are you doing?" And at the time, I didn't really realise. It's just I was either laughing and just going along with the party, trying to fit in and try and please everyone. Really, I'm trying to please everyone. I try and impress people, and the people I respected and who were quite intelligent realised and they'd say, what's going on with you? What are you laughing for? What are you trying to impress people for? It just doesn't make sense. And now I realise, that's who I was. I wasn't really being myself. I was trying to impress people and give them what they wanted. And then the middle picture is me travelling on a road trip through Australia from the west coast to the east coast. And this was a good time for me. I took a lot of time off and refreshed a lot of the batteries and wasn't working as much as a chef. I had a lot of time with myself and with new people and surrounded myself with a lot of cool people. And that gave me a different perspective on things. And then after that, obviously now I'm the person I am now, very confident, very happy, and took a lot of effort in myself. It was very hard to change everything that I am. And I literally had to change pretty much everything, the way I talk, the way I am, the way I think about things, my attitude towards people, being around people is changing, is still changing. There's a lot of possibility in change of becoming a person that you want to be and moving towards your goals. Because I would have never thought I'd be the person I am today, and I'm pretty sure next year I'll be pretty amazed at where I am looking back towards now. So it's a lot of change kind of happen in a very small time, and even over a long period of time, it can definitely happen. It just takes the willpower to change. because it was a tough time at points for me, and it definitely, like, if people say, oh yeah, but I'm just too unhappy, I'm too whatever, a lot of people have been through a lot of tough times like yourself, and it takes a lot to get out of it, but you can definitely get out of it, and you can definitely move forward and have unbelievable lives. It just takes that willpower and that self-image of who you have of yourself, and writing goals and moving forward. And it's another thing. I'll move back onto the thing. Positive and negative thinking is that the only thing that we can change. And it is in a way, but it's not the only thing we can change. But it has a massive effect on who we are as people, positivity, negativity, and it really reflects. When you're a positive person, you have a definitely different lifestyle. Just because you're happier, it doesn't just mean that you're a happy person, that you're smiling. It affects everything. The way people talk to you, the way you are, the way you look at things, and how everything happens, and the way you speak to yourself as well. Like a little quote here, which I like. Take care how you speak to yourself, because you are listening. I used to be a big critic to myself. Oh, Josh, what are you doing? You an idiot. What are you saying that for? Oh, what did you do that for? You an idiot. And I got a short temper. Joshua's got a short temper. You get angry too easily. You're terrible in relationships. You drink too much. Now, these little things, as you know now, go into your subconscious mind very easily through repetition. And once you get in a habit of saying these things, you start to believe them and you start to become them. So it does work positively, but also works negatively. If you've got this image, this self-talk that's negative, you are listening, and it is turning into who you're going to become. Now, like with any bad things, like if you're say bad in relationships, you're going to be bad in relationships. That's what you're telling yourself. It's a funny thing that I had a lot of experience with. It's quite funny looking back and listening. It's weird when you actually listen to people now once you understand it, and it's hard to tell people, don't say that, because it can affect you subconsciously. But you try and ease them into it. You say, well, I don't think you're an idiot. Then they say, oh yeah, well, I'm not an idiot, but then it's just trying to convince themselves, because it's an easy trap to fall into. That self criticism. As I mentioned in the earlier chapters, become the self coach, not the self critic. Oh, Josh, you're an idiot. Well, I don't think you're an idiot. I think you were just doing something you shouldn't have done, and you shouldn't have done it. And it's because I care about you and I love you. You're a very strong person. Now that's a lot more powerful than just saying you're an idiot. But it's just about catching yourself when you do say the bad things, and then actually saying what you really mean, instead of just having this short burst of negativity. And being positive, you become interested in things, which I'm sure you've had, with a business, being interested in people and in things. You become happier, just generally in everything. You become more open-minded towards ideas and towards people as well. Become excited. It brings people up. If you're positive, you have the ability unconsciously just to bring people up, because you look towards the better things, and they almost feel bad, feeling bad. If they're being a grouch around, you're like, oh, it's rubbish today, innit? And you're like, yeah, but it's just another day, innit? Let's go out and have some fun. They're kind of like, yeah, okay, you're probably right. I shouldn't have been negative. It just brings them up, which is a good thing. You're more upbeat, and you find friends and relationships a lot easier because you are positive. You look towards the good things, and people look up to you to be positive. They want to surround themselves. Good people want to surround themselves with good people. So it's an important thing to be. And you got lots of energy as well, which I found in myself. I got more energy being upbeat. It doesn't drain me at all. And being around positive people as well. It's like a little recharge for me, being around good people like yourself. Just gives me more energy. Just keeps me going and keeps me flowing. Now on the negative side, it's the complete opposite, obviously. Law of polarity. You're bored, depressed, angry, you get frustrated easily, unhappy, closed-minded, prefer to be alone, and no energy. These are all things that I used to have myself, and it is true. and they're all, if you've read Think and Grow Rich, there's like a chapter in there which goes through them all, the little demons that can be in your life, and they all kind of add towards each other, and they build up, have the negative thought goes towards you being depressed, which goes towards you being angry and frustrated easily, and then you prefer to be alone because you're always angry at people, and it's a kind of a vicious cycle, and it's hard to get out of actually, but it's just like building a new habit. It's just a case of things are always going to be tough at first, but once you build that habit and actually move through it, it does get a lot easier. And how can you change? And people do say, how can you change? And you've literally just got to choose to. And that's as simple as that. And it might seem too simple to a lot of people, but it is just literally choosing to be happy. And wanting to be happy is a big thing. And that's when we go back to Stickman. And that's literally how we understand it. And it is a very simple idea, but don't let the simplicity fool you, because these ideas, which in this stick person, is so powerful. It just puts things into black and white and allows you to understand. This is the whole thing of, I'm not sure I understand something, but you just do it. This for me, if I understood it, and then I could do it, it's almost like a reverse of how it usually works. It just puts things in perspective, and it actually makes things, our thoughts do create habits, obviously, because what we think about is what we do, which creates our actions, which get our results. So to change our results, we've got to look back, change our actions. How do you change your actions? By changing your conditionings, your expectations, and your habits. And how do you change them? By changing your thoughts and how you're responding to your surroundings. So it's literally by your choice is going to get you results. So it's, who you are today is going to affect who you're going to become in the future. And you can change whenever you want, And it's the amazing power of your brain. Fun little a fun fact, and I'm all into like neuroplasticity. Actually knowing that your brain actually changes. When you think about something, you literally change the structure of your mind and on your brain, and it's never the same again. You can actually change the physical dimensions of your brain, send like the brain cells, and you can build them. There's a couple of things in here which are pretty obsolete, but your thoughts are real. Like, say, your thoughts cause biological and physiological effects. Your body responds to mental input as if it were physically real. Boosting your brain power through meditation. Conscious mind controls our brain only 5% of the day, and the rest of it is subconscious, which is really where you should think about, okay, that's quite incredible. And how do you create subconscious thoughts? It's the repetition and repetition of conscious thoughts. And that's 95% of the time is what we're programmed to do with our subconscious mind. So, which is quite a powerful number if you think about it. And all you need to do, and it's easy to have, once you've got a habit, it's easy to do. So all you really have to do is just create these habits, which are tough at first. But then once they're there, they're just working automatically. You don't have to really think about reading or writing or talking or walking. It's just a habit you've built into yourself. So building in these habits of prosperity, which we're doing now, are fantastic, and it becomes your subconscious mind, and it becomes a lot easier to do. And your body as well is a very powerful thing. It's a little practical thing for you, MJ. You might have done something similar with meditation, but something that I've done actually quite interestingly before, and I found it through yoga. If you just literally right now, and the guys listening on the call as well, just stop right now and think about your feet. Look at them if you like. Have an image in your mind of your feet, and just really picture them. Imagine your toes. Really feel your toes with your mind. Imagine what it's like to feel a little bit of heat on the bottom of your feet, and just literally imagine. Have a picture in your mind of each foot of one of your feet, and just hold that thought for a couple of seconds. And I don't know about you, but my feet are starting to. I can feel my feet vibrating. Can you feel anything there, MJ?
I can imagine the heat at the bottom of my feet, and my foot feels warm.
Yeah, but that's literally the power of your brain and like the power of your mind as well. You can control a lot more in our body as well. And it's just a practical thing for you, just a random thing which I found out, which is quite cool. But our body is very powerful as well, and our thought is literally creating a physical thing in our body. Just by thinking about our feet, we can make our feet warmer, and you can actually feel like the vibration I was talking about is literally going to be the heat. And I used to do it when I used to always have cold feet in bed, and I found this thing on through someone, I'm not sure where it was. I think there's a guy that can control his body temperature. I just focused on my feet for about 20 minutes and warmed my feet up to quite a warm temperature, and then went to sleep. It's quite a cool thing. So yeah, that's the vibration. Lord, as well as being efficient, it's habitual. So if you cross your arms, MJ.
Yeah.
So now, which arm's on top and which arm's on bottom?
Left arm's on top.
Left arm's on top, yeah. So mine is as well. So now, uncross your arms, shake them out, and now cross them the opposite way around.
Oh gosh. I've done it wrong.
Yeah, so it's a bit weird to even do it at first, but once you actually, like, I'm still having trouble getting them around myself, but like, once you actually cross your arms the opposite way around, you got it?
Yeah, I've done it.
Now we'll just hold it there, and now we're going to sit like this for another 10 minutes. But now, how uncomfortable is that to feel?
Okay.
Does it feel uncomfortable, or does it feel comfortable?
It doesn't feel comfortable now. It's not like natural for me to put my arms like this.
Exactly right, and then, like, literally all you want to do is uncross your arms or put them back to the normal way, right?
Yeah.
And that's literally something that small. You're breaking your habit, and you're creating a new habit, and it's that difficult thing, and it's all you're doing is crossing your arms. I mean, you can uncross them now. I was only joking about a 10-minute thing.
Good.
But it's literally something that small, and being a physical change is so difficult to do. Now, this is when we have problems when, like, people say, oh, but it's hard to make change and it's hard to lose weight. Of course it is. But if crossing your arms is that difficult and it makes you feel so uncomfortable, how do you think it's going to be for changing a business or creating change? Now, if it was easy, everyone would do it. But I'm sure you're aware, if you did that every day and crossed your arms the left side or the opposite way around, it'd become normal after a while and it'd become a lot easier to do. So all you're going to do with these difficult tasks, and I'm now repeating this in different ways, but it's just a case of keep practicing what you're doing and it'll get a lot easier. It'll become habitual. Now, imagine what it'd be like to change your actions every day to create new habits. Now, do you think it'll feel less uncomfortable, MJ?
Well, hopefully we'll get to the point. Yeah. It will be less uncomfortable.
It will be less uncomfortable, but I mean, when you create new habits, it'll still feel the same uncomfortable level. You'll still literally not want to do them, even if it's something as simple as jumping on a mastermind call. It's a new habit, and you'll seem to get excuses in your mind, and things will pop up, and you'll be like, oh no, I can't do it tonight, I've got to do this. But it's literally just creating a new habit, so your body's fighting it, because it's not used to doing it, and it wants to, like you said, 5% of our thoughts are conscious. So your body's trying to automate as much as possible, so when you give it a new task, it tries to deviate and do something you already know, to make it easy for itself. So it's got more time to focus on the important things that you need to be consciously aware of. So, but all you got to do is fight that uncomfortableness for a little bit of time, and then the habits will become easier, and the new, thought patterns become easier as well. And it's where you go into a confused vibration. It's a brilliant Nicolas Cage picture. I'm not sure if that's his normal face, and it does always seem quite confused in the films, but that's his interesting look by the looks of it. But confused vibrations is a big thing which a lot of people struggle with, and they don't actually realise that is something that they're struggling with. It's people that are trying to do something by forcing it without first really wanting it. We just want to go back to the image that you hold of the idea, wanting to build a business and actually figuring out how much you always want to be doing. But if the original person just didn't think about it, didn't plan anything, and just started a business, it's just you're having a confused vibrations. You have no idea what's going on or why you started doing it, and you're just doing it now, and it's not going to last, and you're going to give up really easily. It's a confused vibration, because your body's doing something that your mind isn't ready for. It should be the other way around. It's just doing the action before you've created the thought pattern and the habitual thoughts, or even just saying I'm going to do something. You just start to do it without thinking about it, and it just becomes weird, and you get confused and you give up easily, and you can get quite stressed out. So when somebody just says to you, "Here, just grab this from me and follow me," you have no idea what's going on because you're a bit confused. So you're confused vibrations. You're having this action, and you find yourself asking, well, "What are we going? Where are we going? What are we doing? What's happening?" You want to know what's happening so you can actually create an image in your mind, or you're just confused otherwise. And that's the same with everything. People who try and save money, but are always broke, confused. They worry constantly about money, about not having any, and are therefore telling themselves they don't have money, which they attract a lack of. Now they have an idea in their mind that they're always broke and they want to have money. But the words they say to themselves is they're always broke. And it is powerful, the words we use for ourselves. And it's something I heard, again, Bob Proctor this morning. He blew me away, to be fair. I love listening to him. I think he's over 80 now. And he said, people lose weight. It shouldn't be called losing weight. It should be called releasing weight. Because once you lose something, you naturally want to get it again. You want to find it. Like when you lose your keys, you want to find them. It should be releasing the weight. Because once you release something, it's gone. But naturally, the words that we use for ourselves program our thoughts. Sorry. And that's powerful, and I thought about that. Actually, yeah, it's quite a good point. People lose weight. Once you lose something, what do you want to do? Find it. So you shouldn't be trying to lose weight. I know it's just a funny thing which I heard. I was like, oh, that's quite an interesting way to look at it. They actually, instead of losing it, you should be releasing it. And the same way with money, you're lost. You're always losing money. Then you're always trying to find it again, but then you're always losing it. So it's a funny way of actually thinking about the words that we use as well. So I touched on briefly before in the previous chapters, but the words we do use are very, very, very big, actually, what we're actually telling ourselves. Now, imagine being in a car with wheels with no rubber on the tyres and trying to get somewhere. Now, do you think it'd be easy, MJ?
No.
No, it's not, But now imagine not being in the right state of mind to achieve something. Now, do you think it'd be easy?
No.
It's an obvious thing, but people do it all the time. People just try and do something before actually getting the state of mind there. They go into a new job, they start a new relationship, they do anything without being actually ready for it. Mentally, they just jump into it and start doing it, and usually mess up or get frustrated with it. And you can move. Obviously, you can drive a car with rubber on the tires, but it's a lot of effort, and it'll break eventually. The tires will actually wear down eventually, and you will break. And that's the same with yourself. It will eventually slow down, and you'll lose the energy, and it's a confused state to be in. You create an action without any. Sorry, my throat is really dry. I'm gonna keep drinking this water. But yeah, it's a powerful thing, being ready to do something, even if it's something simple, because the simplest things can be the most frustrating ones when you can't do them. It can be frustrating. Now the vibration. Now Bob mentioned briefly in the book about the chandelier and the piano, and there's one key on the piano which can touch, and that'll actually vibrate the center globe in the chandelier.
Yeah.
There's something in the vibration from that key that around in all the other keys. That one key could send all the vibration in a different way, a different frequency, which is why, thinking about something differently can actually become a physical manifestation. It's just literally a vibration has gone through to the chandelier from the piano. Now our thoughts can also have a similar thing. It can go into a physical manifestation. Sorry. Something in my throat. Sorry about that. But yeah, so it's a powerful thing and a lot of vibration. And if you want to find the secrets in the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, which is what Nikolai Tesla said. Very, very famous person. And it's very true as well, from my own experience. Being in the right frequency, just feeling very good like yourself, meeting this new person, you're in the right frequency to meet her, which is why you did meet her. And the colours of the rainbow, you can't really tell when one starts and the next one begins, which is very true as well. And it's a case of, we don't really know when the next frequency is. You can't actually tell who's in a slightly better frequency, but you've got to actually just move up very small. Like the keys in the piano, you can't really tell a different frequency between the two keys physically, but there are definitely, it's a very small way, and I'm sure there is different points where each colour starts and each stops. But when you look at this picture, it's very hard to determine when each colour ends and the next one begins. It kind of just blends into the same colour.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the universe is not punishing you or blessing you. The universe is just responding to the vibrational attitude you are emitting. It's a very powerful way of thinking about it. And people that do complain a lot about what they're actually receiving is because, it's what they're actually putting out. They're putting out negativity and they're getting negativity in return. Now, on here it's got one thing leads to another, and everything is connected. The whole ripples in the pond. It's a very, very. Oh, I'm sorry, MJ. I've got a terrible in the throat.
You're coming down with something.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from. It seems just might be a big hay fever or something. The window is open, so it might have been something to do with that.
Like it's not a cold or something.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. But people are also connected to everything, and it's a powerful way of thinking about our thoughts. Can have a very big ripple in the ocean if we want them to be, and we can do anything we want as well, just by thinking about it. And thoughts to do create the actions, which is it's very powerful if you think about it on the state of where you are now in a business. Just these small actions that you're creating now by the thoughts that you're having is actually potentially building a big business for yourself in the future. The people you're surrounding yourself with, and the thoughts that you're having, and the actual work you're putting into it now, laying the foundation for your business, is going to connect towards having a business. However small the actions may seem right now, actually are really big actions. Because when you're changing your habits, you're changing the way you think about things and how you respond to people and networking and a lot of different things like that. And that's going to have a big impact on the results you get back in return from how people see you, how you see other people, how you talk to people, how you build a business, and how you're used to building a business. But it just starts with these small little pebbles in the ocean that have a big impact. And what I was saying a little bit earlier about the brain, the brain activates cells when you think about them. Physically, you actually send these electrical waves to the rest of your mind, and then it actually creates these thoughts, and you get signals. And once you actually create a signal and then think about something again, the same signal gets stronger. and your brain gets used to sending these signals again, and that's how the habit becomes easier, because your brain is used to sending the signals, and it gets a stronger and stronger connection in your brain. And every experience we have, the changes the brain structure and how we process the information. And this is what I was saying earlier on about neuroplasticity. It provides us with a brain that can adapt not only to inflict damage, but allows adaptation to any and all experiences and change that we may encounter. Our brain is literally changing by what we're seeing around us, which is quite powerful, but at the end of the day, it's been evolving over tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of years into the brain we have now. The frontal cortex, it's a very powerful thing in our ability to think and choose is a very powerful thing at the minute, and these thoughts and building these habits, are being impact on the world as it is really. But it does become easy, the whole crossing their arms and uncrossing your arms becomes a lot easier as you move forward. And the more you do it, the easier it does become, and you can eventually cross your arms anyway and still feel alright. Now, when you hold the image of your goal on the screen of your mind in the present tense, you are vibrating in harmony or in resonance with every particle of energy necessary for the manifestation of your image on a physical plane. Now that's the whole, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have ... and then you write your goal. Now I don't know if you've actually written a goal in similar terms to that, MJ. In like a physical, like in a present sort of tense.
My affirmations that I do are said in the present.
Okay.
Written, yeah. But when I'm doing my meditating, I imagine myself on in my swimming pool, that that in the garden of my big mansion.
That's powerful though, and it does have. Well, do you feel like that has a more impactful thing than just saying the goals, just reading the goal out loud?
I don't know. I've got them written down, but I know them in my head.
Yeah.
It's like tomorrow I have my goals and I know what they are. I haven't written them down. I don't. I don't know. I just sort of do them. I don't really.
No, fair enough. I mean, everyone's got different ways of, right? Like, remember, like I'm a very visual person. Like I like to see things. I write them down. I like to see things in my room. That's probably why I like to do it. Maybe you're more of an emotional person. You prefer just to feel them and to think about them, and respond a lot better to that way. Which is, finding the right balance for yourself is the best thing to do. But like you said,
Yeah.
when you said about imagining yourself in the mansion, in your swimming pool, you're becoming emotionally attached to the idea as well, and you're physically seeing yourself already achieving what you wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in that position, and that's powerful. Just for your subconscious mind to actually believe it can get there, or believe it really believes it's already there. If you're imagining it, it believes that it's already in the image. Like we were saying about going to the movies, you imagine that you're actually in the movie when you get scared because someone's coming at you with an axe. You still get scared and you get, paranormal activity, you get nervous when there's ghosts around the room and stuff. It's not real, but your brain doesn't realise it because you can see the image you're seeing, the brain is trying to protect you from in a strange way. In the same way when you're writing your goals, your brain doesn't realise if it's not real or not. It's just a case of influencing your subconscious mind and just tries to put it into a physical form eventually, which is where you're looking at. Go on.
Yeah. I've got some affirmations on my bedroom wall in front of me.
Oh, fantastic.
I look, when I wake up, they're the first thing I see.
Oh, that's good. And that's good,
Yeah.
like, to where, like, the habits as well, you'll be seeing them, and just, even if you don't read them and just looking at them will just trigger a response in your mind that you'll go back into a state and you'll imagine how you felt when you first wrote the goals or the affirmations, and
Mhm.
just looking at the affirmations can sometimes just trigger a response in your mind to get you moving, to move you forward towards where you're like giving you motivation, energy. Just like,
Yeah, that's
yeah, like for me, even like with my goal card, even if I don't actually read it out every time, when I see it, it just instantly makes me respond to a goal, and it makes me think about what I want to achieve and what I want to go. So it actually makes me work towards it, which is what is fantastic to have your affirmations there in front of you. It's a powerful thing. Don't let what you can't do stop you from what you can do. By holding that image, those particles of energy are moving towards you, the law of attraction, and you're moving towards them because that is the law. It makes a lot of sense, the whole happiness, thinking you're happy, then becoming happy. You're getting the energy towards yourself. And once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. And however you want to look at that, if you believe it or not, it is completely up to you. But if you believe it and you think it is actually happening, then it will actually happen because you believe it enough. And it makes a lot of sense as well, the whole throwing a stone in the ocean, the ripples go all the way to the other side, no matter how big the ocean is. So if you make a decision to become a business person or to have an MLM business, you're already making them waves already. And if you keep believing it, it's going to make it happen. Now, the only thing that's going to stop it is yourself, by having the doubts, by having the negative self-image and the not thinking you actually can do it. However innocent it might seem, oh well, I've never done it before. It's new to me, and I'm only just starting out. You're still actually stopping yourself from achieving it because you're actually telling yourself that you're not good enough to have a business. Now, it might seem innocent at first, but once it becomes a habit and becomes more a part of you, it becomes easier and easier to criticize yourself and to think, oh well, I'm not really a business person. It was just a good idea. But if you make the decision to stick with it all the way to the end, you can get a lot of places very quickly as well, and you can, which you already have done for me. You're you're way ahead of what you originally planned to do, and now I think you'll probably move a lot very quick as well into actually creating a lot of clients and getting a big business for yourself because you've
yeah.
made the
I'm
decision.
surprising myself.
Yeah, but the universe is conspiring to make it happen for you, so it's natural.
Yeah.
There's the whole thing, vibration and frequency as well. Not only in creating a business, but making people happy. Feeling good when someone's happy, when someone helps you and is nice to you. It makes you feel good. Um, duh. It's not it's an obvious thing, but you do feel good when someone is happy and helps you and is nice to you. It makes you feel good. Now, generosity procures joy. Honesty procures peace. The more fully we give our energy, the more it returns to us. So if you're really positive and you're really outgoing and helping a lot of people, it'll come back to the energy to make you feel better, to make you feel happier and more positive. But true positivity goes a long way in these steps. And so does building your business, the idea in your mind that you're holding yourself. And if you're helping people and you're networking a lot of people, that work will come back towards you and to really help you build it when you need it. You've got people there that are going to help you. In the same way, when you're feeling down, people that you're friends with can really bring you up. It's that energy that they've got that's helping you to get where you need to be. I'm sure you've had this, MG, when you're in a busy place, even if you're not actually going anywhere, and everyone around you really rushing around and getting busy, and you just find yourself getting frustrated or feeling rushed,
Yeah, yeah.
and all you do.
That's like London, that is. It's always like busy and rushed. I don't like that.
Hmm, yeah. And you're just picking up the vibration of everyone else, and you literally, it's like osmosis. It just comes through your skin into you, and you start feeling the same feelings they're feeling. You start feeling negative. Everyone's, pushing past you and feeling rushed, and you start feeling rushed, like you've got to get somewhere. You're just picking up their energy and picking up their vibration, and it's a powerful thing. And it's something that you can do as well. But if you've got a positive vibration in your business and you want to go somewhere with that, people pick up on that as well. People understand that you're a good person, that you're trying to build a business and helping them. And being genuinely yourself as well is a powerful thing. Which is where we come into like a bit of a practical thing as well. When someone throws an objection at you, which you're gonna have, you're gonna have in your business, people are gonna come up to you and say, "I'm not interested," or "This is not something I want to be interested in." Now, a lot of people would think, especially if they're just starting out, "Oh, okay, then I'll leave you to it. Then it's fair enough." If they're not interested, then why would I help? I'm not going to push them. But someone that's not interested just doesn't understand the idea enough, because that's a good thing. So they're not interested because they don't know enough about the product, or they don't know enough about you, they don't trust you, or there's a lot of different things. But 9 times out of 10, it's not the actual products that they don't like and are not interested in. It's just they don't understand it, or they're not ready for it, or they don't think they've got enough money for it, or they don't know how much things are going to cost. And they've got a lot of representations toward people, especially in network marketing as well. When someone says, "What do you do?" "I'm into network marketing." Right, okay, so what are you trying to sell me? And you can get a lot of negative, habits that people come out at just from what they've had in the past, or from what people have told them, or what people do. So a lot of the time you might get objections. Now, the 4 things you can do to overcome an objection, and there's a sequence. Now, you agree with the person is the first thing. Now, this is what like attracts like. Now, if someone says they're not interested in the idea, you agree with them. Like if you're saying, "Oh, I've got a really good health and wellness product, it's going to really help. You have some really good skin. It's going to really help you feel younger and look younger as well. So I'm not interested." And you say, "Right, okay, I understand that you're not interested. I agree, it's probably not the most interesting topic in the world to talk about." And you have to relate to them on their level. If they can't afford it, you say, "I understand, we're all short of money right now. And, when is the right time to be able to spend money on this sort of a thing?" Now, this is an important point because you've got to agree with them. Now, if they said, "I'm not interested," and you said, "Oh, but it's a really good idea," now, they're still not interested. Because you haven't solved that initial problem. If you agree with them, they say, "Oh, it's not really good, is it?" Say, "Nah, it's not really." They feel comfortable with you. They feel like you're a genuine person, and that you're not just trying to push them into something. They're like, "Oh, you agree that it's not interesting?" "Oh, okay, and they think they're off the hook. They're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, okay." But then you turn it with an example, which they're like, "I understand that you're not interested." Are you getting this, MJ, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, still with me. Like you agree with them. You say, "Yeah, I understand you're not interested. It's probably not the interesting thing that you were really thinking about, that we were talking in the first place. However, for me personally, skin products have always been an issue with me. I've always struggled with it. And now when I had bad skin in the past, I've really felt less confident, less happy in myself. And it's really been a bit of an issue for me. I've struggled being around people, and through this product, I've actually had a lot of really good results, and people that I've been around have had really good results as well. Now, this has really helped me feel more confident, more alive, and I'm actually building a business which I'm selling. Like I'm working for myself. I'm helping people better themselves. That's the turn. Giving them an example, what you can use, like any example you want for yourself. You're giving them an idea, and it's kind of like an example of yourself, your own experience that they can relate to. Tell a little story. Sometimes I haven't got enough money, so I understand you haven't got enough money, and I agree that it can be tough to find the money for these sort of things. However, which is a turning word, however, it's only a small investment at first, and it's not, you don't have to jump straight into this idea. It took me a couple of months to actually really get into the idea and understand it. But once I actually realised some of the products are quite cheap, you can have a trial of one of the products to see if it is right for you. And when I realised that I didn't, when I thought about it at first, I was quite broke. However, I realised that while we're spending on, my own moisturiser, my own conditioner, my own, tablets I had for my acne as well, it was actually cheaper for me to get this product. So I was surprised at that. Now that's another 10. And now an example, which is, the same thing, use an example. So, however, first, agree, I understand you're not interested in the product. However, which is your turning word, for me, it's a really good product. And, it's worked well for me, and it's worked well for my friends and family. Then use your example, something from your own life, something from someone else's life, or you can make something up if you feel like you haven't related to it specifically, or people can have really random objections that is hard to relate to personally, like, oh, I've got 6 kids, and you can't use an example of having 6 kids, but you could say, I understand you've got 6 kids and it can be a busy thing. However, for me growing up, I had a really big issue with my skin. Now, this could really help your family, to be fair. If a couple of your kids are struggling with, wanting to have better skin, there's not an age limit on this. Some of these products can really help you have, better skin throughout your life. So I'm sure you can give them a lot of confidence and help as well moving forward. And it's going to be a bit of an excitement as well. It might bring you closer with the family. You can have like a Wednesday. You can all put on your face masks and watch a movie or something. It might bring you a lot closer and have like a fun little movie night and give a little dimension to your family life. Now, that's an example you can use, moving forward. It's now turned an objection. Now, they don't have to talk while all this is just you talking. They shouldn't really be talking while you're giving these series of words. I probably agree with you or disagree with you. And that's a case of more objections. And he could get 2 or 3. He could say, I'm not interested. And he say, I understand you're not interested. And he said, no, I haven't got time for it. And this is a bit of a sales technique as well, but you got to really listen to their objection, what they're actually saying. Because if they're saying, I haven't got time for this, and you're saying, yeah, but it's a really good product and, you can really benefit from it, they still haven't got time. You have to turn it and you have to give an example of what they're objecting with. And this is where listening comes into a lot, which you probably will get a lot of rejection, like if you're on Facebook or anything like that. Now, you understand that it's a bit of that network marketing can be a bit of a sore subject for a lot of people. However, you know who I am. You know me, the person. Now, this isn't a business where you have to put a lot of investment down or anything like that. All I'm doing is I'm using these creams, which have really helped me. Now, I'm also building a business through it as well. It's something that, as women, I'm sure you'll be talking to a lot of women. We know about these face products, so we can actually have a lot of, got a lot of knowledge already about these products and how to use them and what's the right combinations with them and what the right times. So it's quite an easy business to start up with. So if the products aren't interested in you, maybe the business could be starting interested in you, and you can actually start running your own business and working from home, having more time with the family. And you're actually turning the objection and making it sound like a really good idea for them. And then you're going to close by asking a question like, if it's a sales thing, you'd ask personal information like their address or their age or what they're doing, but their close is just something where they start to agree with you. Now, this is something they'll just say yes to. And once you get them to say yes once, it's easy to say yes again. So you're saying, oh, so just to confirm, your surname is Mr. Smith. And they're like, oh, yes, it is. You say, oh, fantastic. Now, Mr. Smith, and then you can go into detail about the product. Because once you get an objection from someone, you got to agree with. This is all with vibration as well. You got to keep in line with their frequency. If they give you, they give you an objection and you go off topic and say, yeah, but it's really good and it's a really good thing. It's really gonna help you. It's helped me. You're you're at different frequencies. You got to really relate to them where they're at, which is where listening comes in quite key as well. And you got to close them with a question or share them products and so. How about the moisturising cream? That's something that I use quite a lot. Do you use moisturiser or do you use facial scrubs? And that's a yes. And they say, oh, okay, fair enough. Then we actually have, and then you can lead on to a more of a finished thing. And why does it work? Because, as I said, you agreed, you're actually coming at them on their own frequency. And handling objections is very critical to your success. And an objection, like you say, a lot of people face objections like, oh, I'm not interested. Oh, okay, no problem, have a great day. And as I said before, it's not actually they're not interested in your products. They're sometimes not interested in, they've got limiting beliefs. They don't want to talk to people about buying things. They don't want, but they'll go to Tesco and spend 20 quid on products. But they won't come to you and spend £20 on better products.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a belief they've got in themselves. And sometimes you need to overcome their own objections to help them to make the right decision. So it's a little bit of practical stuff for you there, which you might be able to use as well.
Yeah, thanks. That's good.
And no negativity is something that you can practice. Imagining a block from negative energy that stops you from actually getting into your life. A physical thing that you believe. This is all a mindset thing, believing that there's no energy that can get to you that's going to put you down. Spending a few days with no negative thoughts, and don't say any negative things. It's building another habit, which is really powerful for having that positivity in your life. And nature as well. there's no failures in nature. As you can see, it's all around us. It just seems to be a beautiful thing, and it's because it doesn't have any limiting beliefs. It doesn't have any negative self-image of itself. Seeds don't just stay seeds because they're not ready to become trees. They just grow into trees and grow into the beautiful flowers and plants that they need to grow into. And we can become anything we want to be just by having, stopping these negative beliefs before they can actually become a problem, and having our self-image of ourselves where we really need to be. Every seed's got a plan, and so should you. The seed's got a plan to become a tree. So this is where your goals and your plans come into action. It's good that you've got them in your mind and where you need to be. You've got to have a plan, and the more detailed plan you're going to have, the more you know where you need to be. Becoming a mental magnet, attract what you need for the physical manifestation of your image. And it's powerful stuff. It's something that you need to, what tools do you need to have? What do you need to become first? I need to become a better talker. I need to become a better speaker. I need to become a better networker. Figure out what you need to have to actually build the business. I think Michael Jordan here, some people want it to happen, some people wish it would happen, and other people just make it happen. The only way to start it off is in your mind, believing it can happen, and have an image of yourself that's going to make it happen. The acorn doesn't attract everything to itself, only what it needs. That's why negativity and positivity come into play a lot. Attract positive people in your life, and the positive actions, and figure out what's going to stop you, what's holding you back, what things you don't need. The same way with yourself, MJ, whether you're saving money and not getting child benefits. You probably figured out what you don't need.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not eating out as much.
And it's just like an extra for yourself, and you realise actually that could probably help my business a little bit if I needed it to. That extra 10, 20 quid a week can actually help a lot.
Yeah.
Moving forward with the business, getting more products and helping people move forward with what you need to do. You wish it without a rudder, or are you selective what you allow into your life? No, it's something that you do think about moving forward, and as you go into these ideas a lot more, you do look at people a lot differently because you realise that you've changed so much, and some people just are very negative and hold you back. And it doesn't mean you should not be around people, but just be selective what you allow into your life, because you can still be around people who are your friends. It's not to mean you don't have to give up all your friends or anything, but just don't really take things to heart as much what they say. If they're being really negative, just go, yeah, okay, no problem. Instead of actually getting into that constant battle of, yeah, it's horrible, it's a terrible thing, and bringing yourself down onto their level. Just being selective in what you're actually allowing and what you're speaking out at as well is quite an important thing. Because we're all seeds, like I say, we're all seeds, what you're programmed for. And once you're figuring out your programming and your beliefs, you will know what to attract and repel. It'll either help you get to where you need to be or slow you down. Whether it's a person, whether it's an action or a thing, you'll figure out if it's going to help you get to where you need to be or slow you down. Same with your saving or with anything. You're going to diet. Having breakfast. Even if you never had breakfast in your life, You need to change your beliefs on eating breakfast to help you lose weight. And it's going to help you get there. But figuring out your steps before you actually make them a lot easier. Instead of just starting to eat breakfast, it can be a lot tougher to actually do it. And it may take some time, because it can take it. I'm still doing it myself, I'm still figuring out what I need to do to become the person I want to be. And I'm sure you will be the same as well with your business moving forward. But the more you actually look into specific aspects of what you want to do and how you want to build it, then the clearer the picture will be for when you do build it. And as well as the creativity as well, with your business, what actually we're drawn to at a younger age, or what you seem to be drawn to naturally as well. What do you naturally like doing? Is a big thing towards not just you with your business, MJ, but all you guys listening to the call as well. When you're trying to think about what you want to do next or who you want to become, just think about what you're naturally drawn towards, what people used to say about you. If you're really friendly person, you're really good with people, or if you're quite a creative person, you've got an imagination, and figure out what you naturally get drawn towards. Like I'm quite a natural. I like reading naturally, like storybooks, like fiction books, and for me it's a nice little getaway. But it makes me think about, okay, so I like stories. I like to tell a story. I like to listen to it. I like to use my imagination. What do you actually naturally like doing? And then using my imagination, I can create, programs, and I can help people with the businesses and help people move forward through these ideas. And that for me is one of the things I could figure out by what I am and what I enjoy doing naturally is what I can do, not just business side, but socially as well. Because sometimes you can actually like doing something, and you can actually, if I really like to relax, maybe you like doing yoga, because it's very linked, it's a relaxing thing. And if you like to be eating breakfast in the morning, or if you like eating different types of food, maybe chefing is a good job for you, or if you like to dance when you go to the club, if you like to dance when you go to the clubs and you like to get your groove on, maybe go to a dance class. Maybe it's something that you could be interested in. This is something that you could be programmed for, like internally, but not realize it. Not necessarily like say for your business, but sometimes just for who you want to become as a person, what you actually enjoy doing, what you actually get drawn towards, and what were you drawn towards at a younger age. Because that's when we're more open to ideas as well. Something to think about moving forward. And there must be order for you to prevail as well. That's how we get out of the confused vibration. If you're constantly in a state of change, thoughts, goals, and beliefs, you'll be drawing energy towards you from different sources, and as a result, will be in a state of confusion, and will not be able. I'm not sure where I was going with that one, but it's for example, if I want to be a footballer, and I'm training to be a footballer, and I think, oh, actually, I'll be a basketball player. Now, the people I'll be around and the things that I've been drawing towards myself come into play. You can get a phone call from someone saying, oh, I've got a game on Sunday for football. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll come and play football. But you're playing basketball now, and then you do something else, and you start drawing a lot of things towards yourself. If you're changing and jumping around every couple of weeks because you're not sure what you want to do, you're going to get a lot of different things coming at you. Through the law of attraction, sometimes takes a long time. There's a time for sowing and a time for reaping. And it is true sometimes, our results come back in different times. And unfortunately, it can be a long time, unfortunately. But if you stick with an idea, through persistence, like you were saying, MJ, and really move towards it a lot of the time and keep going and keep going and keep going, you're going to get the same rewards coming towards you eventually. Because it's natural, it has to come towards you because you've been working towards it. It's the law of attraction, it's a law. And it makes complete sense as well if you think about it. If you're putting a lot of effort into something, it's impossible for you to get nothing out of it. It might take a bit longer sometimes and a bit more depth, but it'll definitely come back towards you. But there must be order, there must be a set thing in your mind of what you want to do, and having it written down is good for me. Your affirmations, like you say, you got there. Having the plans and the goals written down as well is your order. You've got your plan there for yourself, where you want to become. And what would happen to a seed if it decided to go into any old tree? Not a specific tree. It probably wouldn't even grow. It'd probably start growing and then it'd probably die because it's not sure of what it wants to grow into. It can't make its mind up. But if it set its mind at the beginning to grow into an acorn tree, into an oak tree, sorry, it'd probably grow into one. Bit of a strange example, but it's just an idea of when you're trying to, if you set a goal to be rich, happy, to find a nice woman, a nice man, a good job, but it's all non-specific. What's going to happen? What is rich to you? What is happy? What is a nice man or woman? What's a good job? It's not really a specific thing. So that's what's trying to be is like specific, specificity, and you'll only attract what you really want in your life. But you have to know what you actually want to attract before you do attract. Because people just run into things head first and think, yeah, I'm going to start a business. But what does that really mean to them? What sort of business? What are you going to do with the business? And how are you going to work it? Sometimes it does take a lot of thinking as well, about what you want to be specifically and how you're going to actually get it started. The same with your MJ. You looked into somebody else and what they're doing for inspiration, and that's helped you get more clarity on where you're going.
Yeah.
I've got here as well one from Napoleon Hill. All achievements, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea, and he's the author of Think and Grow Rich. And it is true, and ideas are everything. So having the right ideas and thoughts and writing them down and being specific about what you want is fantastic. And another quote here from Elle Nightingale: "People with goals succeed because they know where they're going, and it's as simple as that." I'm sure that everyone else on the call will agree as well. It's true because you know where you're going. It makes complete sense. It goes back to the whole ship with no direction. You know where you're going, so that's as simple as that. I know this has gone on a little bit longer than what we usually do go on for, but it was such a big chapter for me. I wanted to make sure it was completely covered, as there is it's quite a lot of depth to it as well. How have you found tonight's chapter, MJ?
It's good because it's gone over lots of things from other chapters, which has jogged my memory and reminded me to do stuff. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. And obviously, we always finish on the this little quote by John Canary. We cannot consistently do what is inconsistent with our own self-image, and that is true. The right image for yourself, and you can do anything. And you need to change it and think about yourself a lot of the time, as well as building the out externally. You need to focus as much internally to have the results you want to have. And the next chapter is the risk takers. Very good chapter on how to move forward and planning for the future as well, and what to actually do when new things do come up. So I'm really excited to get into that one. But I will have to shoot off, MJ, because it's been a bit of an extension on today. It's a bit longer than what we usually go on for.
Yeah, that's all right.
But how was it tonight? So it's been good. You picked up on a few things from previous chapters as well, huh?
Yeah, it's good to, like, there's so much, some of it's so in depth, it's good to have like reminders
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what was previously been discussed in chapters. So.
yeah. That's good. Oh, it's good that you picked up on that as well. It's nice. I mean, for me as well, to keep same with reading the books. I try and keep going backwards over it again, and just to make sure I actually fully is aware and fully is linking it towards each chapter. It's not like when you go into school. Every time you go in the next year, you're still reading the same information, but just a higher level. So that's the same thing, trying to read the same information, just go over the old information, but at a higher frequency, moving forward and with this law of vibration as well. But yeah, I look forward to it. I'll release the chapters later on, if not in the morning, for tomorrow. And for the next week, I hope you enjoy the next chapter, the Risk Takers, MJ. And I'll release the video for you guys as well straight after this. Yeah. Okie dokie, MJ.
Okay then. All right. Good night.
Good night, darling. Take care.
Bye.